Welcome. This presentation is U.S. National Grid for you, your employer, your county, your city, your town. It was originally given at the Florida Task Force 4 Urban Search and Rescue Annual Meeting, December 3rd, 2015. My name is Al Stute. 362880. 6 digits with huge significance. Are you aware of what they are? 19 firefighters died at this position near Yarnell, Arizona, 30th June 2013. No position report of any kind was transmitted and no mayday as they were overrun by a flame front. The minimum position information that could have been transmitted was U.S. National Grid 362880, 6 digits. The full coordinate worldwide for those 6 digits, which equates to a 100-meter grid, was 12 Sierra, Uniform Charlie, 362880. Do you operate in a wildland-urban interface? Do you operate off-road or in the wilderness? Per the National Fire Incident Reporting System, 33% of all incidents are not at a street address. Street address would be considered the Plan A method of dispatch, navigation, position reporting. When none of that applies, what is your Plan B? This is a U.S. National Grid 100-meter grid square, 362880. It is now hallowed ground where 19 firefighters died working a wildfire in Yarnell, Arizona. The orange circle represents a fence line, which is obviously restricted area. That is inside 100-meter grid 362880. The firefighters never transmitted their position. There was an overhead air tanker at the time. It took 2 hours for anyone to find them. 362880. Moving on, every firefighter, every police officer, every state trooper, every EMS worker, every citizen, every wildfire fighter, every person that works emergency services should have USNGapp.org on their smartphone. Smartphones are so prevalent these days. USNGapp.org. Try it today. It's free and it's a browser app. That means it'll work on Android or it will work on Apple. Or it will work on your desk computer. It'll work on your tablet. It'll work on anything that you can get the internet. It works on any device. It can function without internet connectivity if preloaded in the browser and you don't close the browser out. It can be used by anyone, anytime, 24/7. Consider promoting it to your citizens, customers, employees, fellow firefighters, fellow law enforcement, anyone. In Central Florida, Volusia County experienced a helicopter crash on the 3rd of September 2015. The dispatched location was 7 miles or 12 kilometers from the reported location or true location of the crash site. The pilot was conscious and alert on scene, had no idea where he was. Had he had USNGapp.org, he could have directed responders to him. Instead, it took over an hour. Coincidentally, Florida Task Force 4 did a training with Volusia County Mosquito Control Division, Operation Vanishing Mosquito, in 2014. Did we fail? Obviously, the pilots did not learn the lesson of U.S. National Grid. Where are we today? At the day of this original presentation, we were at 573,530. That's a 100-meter square. To 10 meters is 5731,5302. The importance of 10 meters is that that can differentiate between the front and back door of any single-family home, business, residence, anything. Worldwide, same as with U.S. military, NATO operations, 13 characters can identify the front or back door of anything, any type of position, and that was at 17 Romeo, Mike 5731 5302. That's a worldwide U.S. national grid and or military grid coordinate. This representation in blue is what USNG app.org looks like. It is also the same representation of an emergency location marker, the ELM system, which we'll get to in a minute. All these numbers and a few letters are the National Standard Coordinate System. 3 Florida state documents describe U.S. National Grid expectations: the statewide emergency response plan, the comprehensive emergency response plan, and the field operations guide. In addition, Florida Fire Chiefs Association has a position document that states in effect that all map product should use U.S. National Grid. And finally, in October of 2015, FEMA released a document 092-5. It's a directive that basically entails how FEMA shall use U.S. National Grid, how they will get with their partners and basically promote U.S. National Grid for all use for all geospatial coordinate systems, especially on land. Trails. The purpose of this presentation originally was to discuss trails only. As you can see on the left, this is a trail marker in Lake County, Florida. The concept of putting the letters GPS on a sign is amazing. Has no value. The latitude and longitude shown is not the right version of the 3 versions. And does anybody know what 0.5750 of a degree is? There are 3 versions of lat long if you're not familiar with that, and there's only one version that is recommended for search and rescue, and what is shown there is not it. On the right is an actual sign, emergency location marker at Hawaii National Park, installed by an Eagle Scout on his Eagle Scout project, where 20 signs were put along the border of a volcano area where search and rescues were common. The coordinate obviously is 5 Queen, Kilo Bravo, 5539, 5264. Totally interoperable worldwide coordinate. CAD and mobile data terminals. This is where firefighters and police officers, sheriff's officers, highway patrol should be looking at maps every day and be able to call out a grid coordinate or be dispatched by a grid coordinate. The upper left shows taxpayer funded CAD, which is obviously archaic and does not have any grid coordinate system, or any coordinate system for that matter, visually. To the lower right is free web tool, one of a few that exist that can show U.S. National Grid, or any grid for that matter, versus multiple layers. A common phrase with regard to U.S. National Grid is a map without a grid is just a picture, and also a gridded map is a tool. So looking at both of these maps, which one would you rather have as a tool to be able to identify anything, anywhere, at any time? Another thing of interest is the ability to take GIS data and superimpose it on a Google Mash map and with National Grid. In this example, you have hydrants in Clay County, Florida, and the software program that does that is GMAP4. Check it out on the internet. GMAP4 is a very awesome tool. There's maps available for the entire Appalachian Trail as an example, maps for various features in Florida, for parks, trails, etc. You can make your own. It can be used to make a hasty map for any incident in seconds. GMAP 4. So what is the take back to anyone's department, government, organizations from this presentation? The firefighter, police officer, sheriff, emergency medical worker should be asking themselves and their departments, their governments, their organizations, why does my CAD or mobile data terminal not have U.S. National Grid lines? Why are daily use maps not U.S. National Gridded? Why are the trails in my jurisdiction not marked with state standard U.S. National Grid coordinates? Why are we not using the emergency location marker system or equal? Why are the lessons learned from multiple prior events all the way back to, say, Hurricane Andrew, Hurricane Katrina, and multiple others, including numerous tornado events in the Midwest, why are those lessons not implemented? Why are we not using the common operated grid system? Why are we not using U.S. National Grid? Finally, if anybody that sees this presentation has any questions, you can email usng08@gmail.com, or on Twitter you can see numerous posts at USNG Florida. Thank you for your time listening to this presentation. And finally, are we prepared to operate per the statewide emergency response plan, the comprehensive emergency management plan, the FOG manual, with respect to U.S. National Grid? Are you prepared? Are we prepared? Is your department prepared? Is your local government prepared? Is your local organization prepared to use U.S. National Grid, the nation's grid coordinate system?